Nita and Eric McVaden. Let me start with Nita. Her maiden name was Gotro. Yes, she was from a Cajun family. They had come from Acadia in Canada many years ago. They had a farm that had been homesteaded to them by the President of the United States. I can't remember which right now. And she got through the ninth grade and was told there was only one horse on the farm, so she couldn't continue school. That also implied that there was no money for her to stay at home. There were 11 children in the Gotro family, minus one who had died early. But she left school in the ninth grade. That's the only schooling she ever obtained. Her English was quite good, even though she did speak French with her sisters, so that Wayne and I, my brother and I, couldn't understand what they were talking about. We were on to the trick, but they were one ahead of us, being able to resort to another language. So she came to Baton Rouge, the capital of Louisiana, and got a job as a telephone operator. She was living in a rooming house. I think that was where she met my father, that he was also in this rooming house. In any event, he came from Brookhaven, Mississippi. His family was Southern Baptist or Methodist, but certainly not Catholic, as was the case with the Gotros. That produced some difficulties between the two families, but they somehow got along. In any event, my parents were married in Baton Rouge after he had graduated from high school. He wanted to go to college, had a girlfriend he wanted to follow to college, but they also had no money. So he had to take all his goods and his best friend, Joe Allen Carruth, and go to Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge was wealthy compared to Brookhaven, Mississippi, of course, if nothing else by size, but also because oil had come to Baton Rouge, Standard Oil. So my father's skills were in photography, which his father, Edwin Allison McVaden, had taught him in the years that he was a boy in Brookhaven. So he gathered his goods and moved to Baton Rouge and eventually opened a studio after having worked for a photographer named Mr. Julius. That's all I remember about it, by being told about it. So he got started, and that's where he had the business throughout his life. So that's how their life together got started. They were renting a little house on 805 Europe Street. I think I have that straight. It was in downtown Baton Rouge. They then were able to buy a lot of land in a new subdivision called Fairfields. And they bought a two-bedroom house there and moved in, and that's where I grew up. I was born at 805 Europe Street, but I don't remember any of that, of course. My first recollections are of the house in Fairfields at 2353 Jefferson Avenue in North Baton Rouge, a subdivision called Fairfield, just in case somebody might be looking for it in the future. The house is still in good shape. It's standing just as it was before, with one addition. If you look on the left-hand side, if you're looking at a picture of it, and there are many available, that was something he added after he came back from World War II. They didn't do any fighting, but I'll tell you a moment about some of his history there. Anyway, I was a boy old enough to remember that he built the studio, at least had carpenters build it. And so he had a photographic studio. The neighbors in the on Jefferson Avenue agreed to going against the what do you call it, rules. Who can live there?
Landlords?
Anyway, whatever that is, they agreed to violate that, so to speak. Well, now to the story of World War II.